So did we get there for you, or did we just stir you up?
You got there with regards to the reincarnation thing. We are individual, but individuals are part of a whole.
So, perfect question. And since we're talking about Jerry, let's continue to talk about Jerry. He likes that so much. So, Jerry is reemerged into non-physical. And he will always be all that he always was. And as long as Esther is focused, a lot of all that he always was will continue to be as well. But in the same way that Esther is relaxing and allowing him to be so much more than she interpreted him to be, Jerry's consciousness can and is flowing with all of you. So in that sense, that reincarnation, that reintroduction, that continuing to be will always be. But what you're talking about is specific consciousness coming specifically into another physical body. So we want to ask you, from what you've just heard from us and from how that all felt to you, does it feel to you like the singularity, wrong word, but closest we can come in this context, that the singularity of Jerry will pointedly reemerge into another incarnation? Or does it feel to you that the all that isness that is Jerry will come into another point of view?
Yeah, the second.
And then what happens? As that consciousness that we could call Jerry, or we could more accurately call Abraham, or we could more accurately call Source, comes forth into that new baby, all that well-being, all that knowing, all that expectation of joy, all that anticipation of joy. So here it is. And now this being, this physical being, begins the exploration of life and begins the creation of the personality that we previously were calling Jerry, or that we are calling Esther, or that we are calling by one of your names. Now this consciousness is focused into this individual who is in the state of becoming that focal point, that very specific focal point. Get that? You get that?
Yeah.
You get that? This eternal evolution, this eternal expanding. So, at what point do you jump in? In other words, right now, can you conceive, can you accept, can you focus, can you know, can you understand right now everything that Abraham is right now? Of course not. Of course you cannot. Can you understand everything that Jerry is right now? Of course you cannot. Can you understand everything that Jerry even ever was? Can you understand even what anybody sitting next to you really is perceiving in any moment in time? In other words, give that up. That's really what we want you to give up. We want you to give up trying to be in a point of consciousness other than what you are being, other than what you have the ability to perceive, and just feel your way into the greatest enlightenment, which means the greatest pleasure, the greatest ease, the greatest flow, the greatest clarity, the greatest vitality, the greatest eagerness, the greatest love. Now. Just let all that you can be right here and now. No longer pinch it off with petty reasons as you misunderstand who you really are, you see. And when you're not trying to prove worthiness, in other words, can you see how, if you're not trying to measure yourself by standards with others, how easy it is just to perceive in this moment? If you're not trying to get somebody else's attention and get them to see you in some certain light, can you see how easy that is? Don't you just want to be happy, and don't you just want everybody else to be happy too? And do we really need to define everything? Well, maybe we do. You're sort of nosy that way. Or can we just joyously cohabitate together and collaborate together and co-create together and be joyful together? See? Do you really need to understand the biology of your body? If you looked into the petri dishes, first of all, it would be disgusting. But if you looked into the microscopes, if you looked into the inner workings of that which you are, is that really the framework with which you wish to perceive yourself? New friend, hello, this is Bill. Bill, please spit into this petri dish. I want to know who you really are. You don't do that because that's not the way you want to perceive. And nor do you, I want to look into your soul. I want to know your past lives. I want to know your purpose for being. Really? Don't you just want to hear the funny joke that Bill might offer you right now? Don't you really want to just focus here in this time-space reality and give and receive pleasure and consciousness and benefit? You are uplifters. You want to be uplifted and you want to uplift. You want to explore this time-space reality, but you didn't come to fix stuff. Nothing's broken. And you didn't come to prove worthiness because you couldn't be more worthy. And you came for the pleasure of discovering your consciousness, making it wide and narrow. And sometimes the broader it is, you feel good. Sometimes the more narrow it is. In other words, didn't you enjoy this conversation we just had? Don't you like knowing who Jerry was and who Jerry is and who Jerry will be? Don't you like knowing all of that? But is it all specific to the pleasure of any moment in time for you? It isn't, is it?
No.
So don't work so hard at trying to explain who you or anyone else is. Funny for us to say that after we just gave you everything we've got in that regard. Just accept who you are and enjoy the consciousness that you're having now. And let the factor be, how clear can I be right now? Esther, for a while, was writing the word fun. Fun, fun, fun. She wanted to become the physical embodiment of fun. Fun, fun, fun. Meaning she wanted to be lighthearted. She wanted to help others in lightheartedness. She wanted that feeling of fun. And as she wrote it more and felt it more and discovered it more, then she started noticing how her quest for fun had given her a clarity that she had not ever experienced before, a sort of consistent clarity. And then she began feeling in the range of that emotion the difference between clarity and confusion. And, oh, how good clarity feels. She began noticing that she was clear about what to do. And she began noticing that in that clarity, she must be in sync with someone, something, someones who know more. Because she began noticing her timing was better. Things unfolded more easily. Conversations were more interesting. Everything got better. It's like all the stumbling blocks in life began to disappear, and even under what formerly would have been seen as very adverse conditions, clarity was still dominantly her experience. Really, it's interesting to her even to realize that after all of these years of conversation with us and all of the books that she has received and read over and over again and all of the recordings, it was so interesting to her to realize that in her simple looking for fun, that she found clarity, and that in her discovery of clarity, she found infinite intelligence present with her in every moment. Who knew? Well, we did. We knew. We knew. But Esther sort of had to come through the back door of fun in order to find us. And so there are things that you discover about life that the harder you try, the worse it gets, because in trying hard, instead of going with the flow in alignment, you are actually out of alignment, trying to use effort and action to compensate for being out of alignment. So you're getting this, aren't you? Yeah. You're getting that the path to everything that you seek is an emotion that you can discover easily, and then everything that you want expands from there. It's a good time for a segment of refreshment. We just want to leave you with this poignant understanding as a result of what you just resonated with here. You can't get it wrong, and you're never going to get it done. And it really is all for the joyous, joyous expansion of it. Good time for a segment of refreshment.
Thank you.
Really good. Really good.